probably add myself to the stage. Okay. Some nice copyright free music for y'all. Hey, quiet, please. Thank you. Thanks. Anyway. All right. Hello, everybody. Hey, quiet, please. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Who's Getting Sued. I am Natalie Pierre-Lewis, host of the show and owner of NPL Consulting Firm, a business formation firm for all you creators and entrepreneurs out there. All right. Before we get into the stories for the week, let's just do a quick recap of some of the stuff we talked about last week. We talked about Billy McFarland, who is the founder of Firefest. He is someone supposedly bought it, but Firefest 2 was a dud, big surprise. So he was selling, the intellectual property, the trademarks and branding for Firefest. Apparently someone brought it, and there may be a streaming service coming near you, called Firefest. All right, so that was one of the stories that we talked about. We also, sorry, I went digital this week with all of my notes, so I thought it was going to be easier, but sometimes nothing beats good old pen and paper. Oh yes, one of the other stories we talked about was this woman in Sydney, Australia, who was she made one Grumpy Cat shirt, and then she got a judgment against her and was ordered to pay the a person who owns the rights to Grumpy Cat's intellectual property. She was ordered to pay them $100,000. This is one shirt that she only made $1 profit off of, and they're like, we want $100,000. And the third big interesting story that we talked about. Oh yeah, the top one. We talked about your weight loss drugs, ladies and gentlemen. These companies out here, these telehealth companies that are showing commercials telling you get your GLP-1s. A lot of those GLP-1s are fake. Okay, now they're not FDA approved, and I have a whole segment on that. Go look at that on my YouTube. All right, but let's get to the stories of the week. Okay, so. First things first, is this it? Nope, not that. Here we go. I want to show you this, this shoe, okay? If you didn't know, I live in the DMV area, specifically Maryland. And for some reason, people out here love a New Balance. If you are here and you live or have lived in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, give me a DMV in the comments, because you probably know people around here love their New Balances. As a matter of fact, there was a New Balance shoe that was designed for with DC in mind. I think it was for the Washington Commanders, but they love their New Balances out here. And New Balance, they've been around for a long time. They are a strong brand. But they are really testing the limits as to how strong they are, because currently New Balance is trying to trademark a particular shade of gray that they are calling New Balance Gray. Okay. Now, when I Googled New Balance, a lot of the sneakers that came up did, were gray in some form or fashion. But I want to know from you guys, do you think that New Balance is a strong enough brand, and that gray is a strong enough, bold enough color for their brand that they can trademark it? I'm trying to think of when companies trademark colors, it's usually something that's bold and that's memorable. T-Mobile has that magenta pink, right? Starbucks has that dark green. Gap has that dark blue. We have Tiffany blue. Usually the colors are very distinctive. Gray isn't a very distinctive color. So I want to know from you guys, do you think that New Balance should be able to trademark a particular shade of gray for their shoes. Excuse me. Wait, are we not? Oh, crap. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, okay. There we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But the lesson you want to take from this is if you are going to claim, if you want to make color a part of your trademark, a part of protecting your brand, you want to make sure that it is a color that stands out, something that the public can instantly recognize that's yours, right? Think about Hermes. Everybody recognizes Hermes because of those orange boxes, right? It's a bold color. And it doesn't have to be singular. You can have maybe 2 to 3 colors that represent your brand. Okay. All right. Next story that we are talking about. Do y'all love a good cushy sock as much as I do? Do you love a good cushy sock as much as I do? Sometimes, your feet will be cold and you just put on some cute little fuzzy socks. They just keep you together, right? So I want you to look at, and some people like to collect socks, which is great if that's what you collect, right? I want to know, how much do you guys typically spend on a pair of socks? Or how much would you be willing to spend on a pair of socks? Okay. If you are looking at the screen, you will see that there is a white pair of socks in the photo. I'm going to pull it up so that you can see. I don't know how well you can see this, but if you can't see, these socks say Louis Vuitton on them. Okay. So these socks, they're cute, nice white socks. Apparently it's a real pearl on the button, and they have a pocket, right? How much do you think these socks go for? Let me know how much you think these white Louis Vuitton socks that have a little pocket up top. Tell me how much you think they go for. Okay. And for those of you who don't necessarily want to do all that, I'll just tell you, those socks sell for $585 a pair. Okay. A pair, $600 for a pair of socks. Excuse me. Does a leg come with them? But I digress. So now you saw that sock and it has a pocket right up at the top. Now there is actually a company called Pocket Socks, and Pocket Socks sells a range of colorful socks that have pockets on them, right? And they range in price from about $20. I think the most expensive they have on their site is about $50. Okay, so Louis Vuitton is selling a sock with a pocket for $585. Pocket Socks is selling socks for anywhere between $20 and $50. Now, Pocket Socks, they did go through the trouble of trademarking and getting patents. Hold on, let me look this up. Excuse me. Okay. So Pocket Socks, yes, they went through the trouble of getting a trademark for, their product and trademarking the name, but they tried to sue Louis Vuitton and say, hey, this pocket on the sock, it's a defining element of our brand and you're violating it. And we want the court to give us some money. The court said no. But why? Because, all right, and this is why it's really hard to establish intellectual property when it comes to fashion. The court said, look, you've got this pocket on the sock. Yeah, it's cute, great, but that pocket in and of itself is not a defining marker of your brand. You have your name. Great. Louis Vuitton, they're not out here trying to pretend to be Pocket Socks. They literally have Louis Vuitton written on the sock. The sock costs $585. It only comes in one style. There is not really an opportunity here for there to be confusion. So pocket socks kind of overreached there. They felt that this, unique element of their sock was going to give them a leg up against Louis Vuitton. But it's not just about what appears on your product. There is a test to see whether somebody is violating your trademark. Is there a possibility of confusion? So if you see this white Louis Vuitton sock with a pocket and with a pearl button, and then you see these pocket socks, of all varying colors and things like that, and especially if you look at the price points, $585 versus, at best $50, there is a big discrepancy. You're going to be like, what's going on here? Are these the same thing? So the court sided with Louis Vuitton and said, Louis Vuitton, you can go and sell your egregiously expensive socks. I don't know why anybody would buy a single pair of white socks for $585 when you can go on down to, wherever and get like 3 for $10, but that's y'all's business. Okay. All right. Okay. My video game players, if you own or know someone who owns a Nintendo Switch, please give me some type of robot emoji or game emoji. If you know somebody who owns, or if you own a Nintendo Switch, give me some type of robotic emoji, something that would, let people know it's about tech. Okay. So Nintendo Switch, it is a game console, I guess, that you can carry with you. Y'all know I don't play video games, so I'm not well versed in what happens. But from what I can gather, the Switch is a console that you can take with you so you can play your Nintendo games on the go, right? And there are different versions. Nintendo apparently came out with the Switch 2 recently. And if you are a person in the gaming world, I know that a lot of people who are in gaming, they like to accessorize their gaming stuff, right? So they will have, glow in the dark buttons or covers and things like that. And there are companies that specialize in that. Specifically, there is a company named Genki. Genki made a bunch of accessories that they were claiming are compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2, but the Switch 2 hadn't even come out yet. So Nintendo was like, hold up, Genki. We have not even released the Switch 2 yet, and you're claiming that you have accessories that are compatible with the Switch 2. So unless you got access to our schematics and designs, which we highly doubt you did, this is jumping the gun, and you're using our name to try and beat the rush. So Nintendo went and they said to Genki, hey, you can't use our stuff. You can't use our name on your products because, one, you haven't even proven that it works yet. You're saying that you are selling Nintendo Switch 2 compatible products, but it hasn't even come out yet. What if someone buys your product thinking that maybe there's some type of collaboration with us and your product doesn't work? That's going to look bad on us as Nintendo. So it's very important that you not try to use someone else's brand to market your own unless you have some type of relationship with them, right? Now, because the average person, if the Nintendo Switch, okay, remember when Barbie was being released and everybody and their mama had some type of marketing that had to do with Barbie before the movie came out? They had agreements with Barbie and Mattel for that. But what Genki did, Genki basically did the same thing for the Nintendo Switch. but didn't get permission for that marketing, right? So you didn't have that relationship with Nintendo to be able to claim that your accessories were Nintendo Switch 2 compatible prior to the product actually coming out, because it's going to be strange. They're going to be like, well, how'd you do it? Nobody else could when the Switch ain't even out yet, right? So let me know, was Nintendo doing too much? Should they let Genki cook, or are they right about, you guys are jumping the gun? Please stop, stop using our name in your marketing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay. All right. Next story that we are talking. Actually, no. Actually, no. Let's do this one. I don't have a picture for it. Well, yes, I do. I should. Where's the? Whatever. Anyway, uh, everybody here has heard of Disney. We know that Disney has theme parks, right? You've got Disney World in Florida. You've got Disneyland in California, and you actually have a Euro Disney. There's a Disneyland out in Perth, out in Paris, right? And of course, what these Disney theme parks, they have rides based on movies and all of their intellectual property, and it makes them tons and tons of money, right? And for some people, for some designers, it is their dream to be able to design something for Disney. And that was Danielle Lawson's dream. Okay, Danielle Lawson, she was an architect and an engineer. She loved Disney. She wanted to get hired as an Imagineer. And someone introduced her to a gentleman by the name of Will Martinez. Will Martinez was creative director at Disney and her mentor for 5 years, right? So, she's getting to know Will, and she's like, Will, I really want to design a ride for Disney. How do I get in the door, right? So she designs a ride based on the Lion King. She calls it Pride Rock Plunge. Okay. Will, her mentor, is like, "Ooh, girl, this is so fire. You're definitely gonna get the job." They so she sent she sent the designs, or she met with the people, with her mentor and the other Disney execs, but they didn't pick it up, right? Next thing she knows, because she's a Disney lover and she's keeping up on Disney news, she finds out that there is a ride being opened or planned over in Disney World Paris, based on the Lion King. And when she saw it, she's like, this looks like the thing that I made for that meeting that y'all didn't give me a job for. So when she saw what was happening, she contacted her mentor and she contacted Disney, and nobody was picking up her calls. They said it was like, straight to voicemail, right? So now she is suing them, and I want her to get every dollar possible, because they are like, you were her mentor for 5 years. You worked at Disney. She trusted you, and you took that trust and you violated it. But the great thing for Danielle, what she did that was very smart, was that these designs for this Pride Rock Plunge that she had made specifically for Disney, she copyrighted those designs. So it's in the record. It is on the books that this is her design, right? So she doesn't have to fight with the court to prove that it's her stuff, because it's already on the record. That is the power of copyright. So that's going to give her a big leg up against a big titan like Disney. Okay. So what you guys who are creating out there, I know that some of you guys, your dream is to work with these huge, big companies, and you want to be able to pitch, right? But remember to protect yourself when you pitch, because some of them have no scruples and they will steal your ideas. All right. So if you're making some type of art, make sure you copyright it. If it's a product, make sure you have your patents and trademarks. All right. Okay. Okay. This next story makes me kind of sad. Because she's everybody's auntie. let me pull this up. So I'm sure y'all have seen Miss Mary J Blige. She's been out here on tour. I think the tour is called For My Fans. Her outfits have been fire for this tour. Okay, now Mary looks like she's over touring and that she just want to go home and lay down, but you know her looks are always impeccable. Anyway, but that's besides the point. Along with being a performer herself, Mary is getting into or has been, producing artists. I think she is managing a trio of boys who are the sons of Wanye from Boys to Men. And there are other artists that I guess she's been trying to get over to her label, right? Including an artist named Vado, Vado. He is a rapper. Here is the problem. Vado has or had, I don't know what the relationship is now, but Vado had a manager called Misa Hylton. Ooh, I'm slutty. If that name sounds familiar to you, it should, if you're around my age, it should. Misa Hylton, she is the mother of one of Diddy's children. I think she's the mother of his first child. She's also a stylist, and she had a music career as well. And for years, Misa Hylton has been Mary J. Blige's stylist. But Misa, she had her own ambitions in music. She has a management company. Let me find it. She has a management company, and Vado was one of her artists. Misa said that Mary has been trying to steal Vado from her as a client by, taking him on, yacht trips and, just showing him the rich life and just telling him he need to come on over here on the Mary J. Blige camp. But keep in mind, Misa Hylton is his manager. Misa Hylton's supposed to get 20% of whatever he get. So why is Mary talking to Vado by himself? She should be talking to his manager, who is also supposed to be her best friend. So apparently things came to a head. Mary told Vado that he had to drop Misa Hylton as his manager if he wanted his album to be released. So now Misa Hylton, she is suing Mary J. Blige for breach of contract and interfering in a business relationship. Now, while this makes me very, very sad, this is a perfect example of why you want to have contracts if you are working with your friends. Mary J. Blige and Misa Hylton have been friends for decades, and they're suing each other in court now. This is why contracts are important, and this is why I always say, I don't care if it's your best friend, your husband, your pastor, your child, your mama. I don't care who you're getting into business with. You need a written contract because you never know what's going to happen. So I hope that Mary and Misa are able to resolve this because, I would hate for such a long-standing friendship to fall apart over. Now, it is a lot of money. Misa won $5 million. So I'm not even going to say it's a little bit of money. But, you would hate to see a decades-long friendship fall apart over something like this, right? But if Mary has been doing this, Mary, you're wrong. Okay. Remove. Let's look at our other stories. We got any commentary over here? What's going on? Y'all good? Okay. Hold on. And let's see what our next stories. Okay, here's one that you may not have known. So I'm gonna put this picture up here. of this person. All right. You probably know who this person is, or have an idea. This is Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner is a trans woman. She used to go by Bruce Jenner. She, when prior to her transitioning, she was married to Kris Jenner and had 2 daughters with her, Kylie and Kendall, right? Now, of course, Caitlyn transitioned. She divorced Kris and is out doing her own thing. Apparently, she's estranged from the family. Family ain't trying to talk to her. They're like, "Girl, what you doing?" But Caitlyn is out here doing her own thing because she's independently wealthy. She was an athlete, in her heyday, so she ain't broke. But as Caitlyn, I guess, comes into, I guess, is feeling more comfortable in her womanhood, she's trying to start a skincare line, like her daughters, like her ex-wife's children, right? Kim got a line, Khloe got a line, Kylie and Kendall, right? So Caitlyn filed a trademark application for a trademark to start her beauty line, and the name that she wanted was Jenner Skincare. Okay, now keep in mind, this is Caitlyn Jenner's name. Jenner is her name. She's the one who gave it to her daughters Kylie and Kendall and the sons Brody and all of them, right? But the USPTO said, "No, Caitlyn, you cannot have Jenner Skincare." Why? Because there is already too much Jenner Skincare out there. Your wife has a Jenner has a skincare line. Kylie has a skincare line. Kendall has a skincare line, and they all have Jenner in the name. So, ma'am, if you want to have your own skincare line that has your name in it, you're going to have to add your first name. So, Caitlyn is not going to be able to trademark Jenner Skincare, but she will be able to trademark Caitlyn Jenner Skincare. Okay, so this is why it's important for you to be very specific, especially in this day and age. Everybody and their mama and daddy is out here trying to get a trademark. So you want to make your mark unique out here. Now, considering how long Caitlyn was in the presence of the Kardashian clan, I am very surprised that she was not aware that Jenner Skincare was already trademarked, in multiple ways, multiple forms. But I digress. But this is just a very good example of how, you got to protect that name. This kind of reminds me of some years ago. Rihanna sued her own father because he was trying to start a Fenty management company, but Rihanna already has that trademarked for her business. So she's like, "Daddy, you can't come up in here and try and mess up what I got going on. It don't matter if you're my daddy. I had it first," right? So you always have to check and make sure that your trademarks are straight, that there's no confusion, because the USPTO is not going to give you any refunds. Okay. And Caitlyn, you need to do better for representing for your community, because you out here wiling. Okay. Okay. A couple of quick stories. All right. This is a very quick story. So you guys remember a few years ago when Russia invaded Ukraine, and all of the businesses left Russia? They were like, "You can't just do this. You're taking over a country," and everybody left, including McDonald's, right? And then Russia said, "Oh, y'all gonna pull out of Russia? All your trademarks are dead. Ain't no trademarks in Russia no more," right? So it has been, I don't know how many years since Russia has invaded Ukraine, and apparently that ain't stopping. So I guess people are trying to go back to Russia to claim their name, specifically McDonald's. McDonald's has reapplied in Russia for their trademarks, okay? Now, McDonald's says they're just trying to preserve the brand in Russia, okay? But the whole point why you left was that you didn't want to be associated with a country that was invading another country without the right to do so. You pulled out, right? So why are you going back now? Why do you care about preserving your brand in a place where you don't want to do business? That's my question. Now, from a purely business point of view, look, if you're planning on opening back up in Russia, say it with your whole chest. But don't give us this whole preserving your brand, whatever. You pulled out saying we don't want to be associated with you anymore. So what you trying to preserve? What you trying to preserve? So on a moral stance, I feel like it's kind of shaky. But on a legal stance, on a brand stance, I understand what they're doing because Russia had said ain't no more trademarks, we're not recognizing any more trademarks from outside of Russia. Random people were going in trademarking decades old trademarks. Somebody was trying to trademark Starbucks, and didn't have any right to it because Russia said, well, if the rest of the world ain't gonna back us up in trying to take Ukraine, bump your intellectual property. And I guess intellectual property is more important than people's lives, so whatever. But it's McDonald's. What do we expect? But do you think that McDonald's should take those steps to preserve the brand in Russia, even though they pulled out all of their restaurants, closed every single one of their restaurants when Russia invaded Ukraine? If they did that, do you think it makes sense to go back to try and preserve the brand? Let me know in the comments, okay? And another quick story that I wanted to tell y'all had to do with the Met Gala. So I'm sure you guys were seeing clips from the Met Gala yesterday. You've seen clips today. Now, every year the Met Gala has a theme, and the celebrities that come out, they have these elaborate outfits that are designed specifically for them. But did you know that those outfits are copyrighted? Because those are considered works of art. They are commissioned. Usually the rights are split between the celebrity wearing it and the designer who made it. But those designs that you see are at the Met Gala, a lot of them, especially the more ornate ones, the more weird and structural it is, the more likely it is to have some type of intellectual property protection. Well, I just thought that was something really cool for you guys to know, okay? Oh, excuse me. Why am I so congested? Hold on, guys. All right. Last story of the evening. Do y'all like sleep as much as I do? A good sleep. Whoo, man, you be waking up just feeling like $1 million, right? And we all know that there are tons of tons of betting companies out there, right? Including this one that I'm bringing to the stage. This brand, Purple. If you have heard of the Purple brand, give me a bed emoji in the comments. If you have heard of the Purple brand, give me a bed emoji in the comments, okay? Now, if you didn't know, along with, a purple color that represents their brand, the mattress brand Purple has patents, meaning the way that how their mattresses are made or what they do. They have patents for those that are tied in with the color, for their mattresses, their pillows, their bed frames, and their cushions, right? So Purple is their entire brand is about purple. It's not just a color that they chose. It is intertwined in how their products are made, right? So there is another bedding company called Serleep, not sleep, Serleep, Serleep. Serleep started selling mattresses that were described as quote unquote plum colored elements, right? And then Serleep got they were able to get their mattresses in Home Depot stores and like Costco, so big box stores, right? Purple went to Home Depot, went to Costco, and went to Serleep and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! We are the ones who have we are the ones who have the intellectual property when it comes to purple." Hold on one second. Okay. They said, "We are the ones who have the intellectual property when it comes to purple." So you as another mattress company can't come in here with these colors that we have invested science and money and branding into, and and just try to take over our brand. So again, so Purple was trying to be real peaceful about it. Serleep went and they filed they asked to the court, they went to the court, they asked them to give a declaratory judgment saying that Purple mattress, they can't prevent them from using all the colors or purple colors. The court said no. And they didn't say no because of all of this intellectual property that Purple invested. They actually said no because Serleep, the company that Purple said was violating their intellectual property, they sued in the wrong place. They sued Purple in South Carolina. Purple doesn't have any hubs in South Carolina. They sell internationally, they sell online, but they're actually based in they're actually based in Utah. So because they did not sue Purple in the proper jurisdiction, the court didn't even get to the the fact of whether Purple could corner the market when it comes to mattresses. So I bring that question to you. Is there room for Purple mattresses and Serleep mattresses? Now again, not again, but Serleep, Purple's first. Purple mattress has trademarks and patents when it comes to this purple that's in their brand. It's not just a color, it's interwoven into their processes. And Serleep is a competitor saying, well, you're not the only one who can use the color purple. So I want to know what you guys think. Is Purple in the right? Is Purple right to go after Serleep, or should Serleep be able to use the color purple? And also keep in mind, Purple is suing the company Serleep and an affiliate of theirs called Waycar in Florida, because I think that's where those guys are based. Okay. All right. So did we cover everything? We did. We talked about the New Balances. We talked about the Nintendo accessories. We talked about Danielle Lawson and her Pride Rock plunge. We talked about the Louis Vuitton pocket socks. We talked about the purple mattresses. We talked about Mary J. Blige being sued by her ex-best friend, Misa Hylton. We talked about the Met Gala outfits and how they're copyrighted. We talked about Caitlyn Jenner being denied a trademark for her skincare line. And we also talked about how McDonald's is reapplying for trademarks in Russia. Okay, so those were the stories that I wanted to share with you. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I will be back next week with more stories. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, please send it to me, by social media, email, however you want to reach me. And I will be splitting these stories up during the week. So don't fret if you don't have time to watch the whole show, or if there's a specific story that you want to watch, I will have it split up for you by the end of the week. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great night. Bye.